The implementation of the automated enforcement system through outsourcing was inappropriate, according to the Public Accounts Committee. PAC Chairman Wong Kah-Woh says that it should have been conducted by the Road Transport Department. He says this was among conclusions made by the PAC in its proceedings regarding the AES project under the Transport Ministry, which started on November 16, 2020. He says the view of the AES Project Committee, chaired by the Chief Secretary to the government at that time, for the project to be implemented by the government itself had not been taken into consideration. In addition, he says the government's directive in 2014 for the Lembaga Tabung Angkatan Tentera to take over the concession companies, namely AES and Beta Tegap, was an indirect bailout by the government. Wong says that the takeover cost by LTAT, amounting to 555 million, was overvalued and exorbitant. This did not follow the due diligence carried out by auditors KPMG, where the maximum value is only 251 million ringgit. PAC also concluded that the terms of the contract was not in favour of and in face detrimental to the government, while the total compensation paid by the government to LTAT in 2018 was 668.9 million. Wong says that the MACC needed to review and investigate the issues to see if there are any individuals involved in kickback acceptance in the acquisition process of the AES by LTAT. Bursa Malaysia Securities has commenced legal action against Serba Dinamik Holdings for it to make an immediate public announcement of the factual findings update on the Special Independent Review as at September 30th, 2021. In a statement, Bursa Malaysia said that it had today filed an originating summons in the High Court against Serba Dinamik under the Capital Markets and Services Act 2007 after the company failed to comply with the regulator's directive dated October 22nd, 2021. To recap, the SIR was carried out by Ernst & Young Consulting to assess the veracity and accuracy of the matters highlighted by Serba Dinamik's then auditor KPMG. This legal challenge is no doubt in response to Serba Dinamik's move in early November to sue Bursa Malaysia, saying that it was acting in excessive power by requesting for the findings from the SIR. The Employees Provident Fund has cautioned that its members are at risk of falling into old age poverty, but has vowed to address poor social protection coverage and the issue of inadequate retirement savings. In his opening speech at the EPS Virtual International Social Wellbeing Conference, Chairman Tan Sri Ahmad Badri Muhammad Zahir said that far-reaching solutions are needed. These solutions should include an effective safety net program, comprehensive life cycle social protection systems, robust labour market and wage policies, sustainable economic growth, reskilling and upskilling of the labour force, as well as policies to encourage automation and digitalisation. Ahmad Badri also highlighted that the EPF is extremely concerned that the majority of its members are now at risk of falling into old age poverty. He says the pandemic had exacerbated the situation for its members, as many now face the risk of having insufficient savings through iLestari, iSina and iCitra facilities to help them stay afloat. The situation is that 48% of EPF members below age 55 have critically low savings, a 28% increase in members reaching critically low EPF savings from before the pandemic. As such, Ahmad Badri says the EPF is truly supportive of the government's Budget 2022 initiative to extend the Aisaraan program to include those from age 55 to 60. He says this will make Aisaraan more attractive to those in the informal sector to save for their retirement. Despite a drop in revenue, SP Setia managed to return to the black for the third quarter, posting a net profit of 11 million from a net loss of 267 million previously. This was thanks to lower operational costs of sales and a narrowing share of losses of its JV companies. Revenue fell 45% to 594.6 million as the slight progress of ongoing projects was significantly disrupted by MCO 3.0. Even so, the group still managed to reach 89% of its full-year sales target of 3.8 billion as of the third quarter. No dividend was declared for the quarter. President and CEO Datuk Chung Kai Wai says the group is confident of achieving its FY21 sales target while remaining steadfast in its de-gearing initiatives to pare down borrowings and optimize its capital structure to strengthen its platform. The group launched projects totaling 1.5 billion in GDV, mainly comprising landed terrace houses and semi-detached homes for the 9 months of FY21. SP Setia currently has an unbilled sale pipeline of 9.84 billion, 48 ongoing projects, and remaining land bank of 7,334 acres with a GDV of 124.6 billion ringgit. AirAsia X posted a net loss of 149.1 million for the first quarter of FY22 compared to the net loss of 24.63 billion it reported in the preceding quarter, which covered April to June 2021. The previous net loss was due to the provision for the amount payable to creditors, where the carrier is in default under the terms of the contract. Revenue for the quarter stood at 99.27 million versus 72.26 million in the preceding quarter. AES says there's no comparative financial information available for the same quarter last year, as the company changed its financial year end from December 31st, 2020 to June 30th, 2021. AES reiterated that after near unanimous support by its creditors for its proposed debt restructuring, it now remains subject to sanction by the High Court. The fundraising exercise intends to raise sufficient capital to restart operations when international borders reopen and provide sufficient liquidity to allow the company to meet its financial obligations.